Sometimes you don't need to be told or feel obligated to step outside for a while. Nature has her own ways of drawing you there. In the Japanese capital, the cherry blossoms are in full bloom. Even though the weather was in the 40s and rainy earlier this week, people from across Japan and those touring the country spent time among the white flowers that embody the beginning of spring. Fleeting, ephemeral, overwhelming, a gift is how some people described it. One visitor from Hong Kong said it's one thing to see pictures, but it's amazing to experience it firsthand. Not everyone was as impressed. One 77-year-old Japanese woman said she was disappointed the blossoms weren't silhouetted against clear blue skies. But the beauty still brought plenty of people to the park to picnic among the blooming trees. Hi, I'm Carl Azus. Grateful to have you watching the world from A to Z. A new blood test has been developed that researchers say can accurately measure the progression of Alzheimer's disease. That's significant because current tests can only help doctors diagnose Alzheimer's, not know how advanced it is. Because treating the disease early is more effective than doing that later, this test could be a breakthrough in staving off its worst effects. The study was published in a medical journal called Nature Medicine. Researchers say the new blood test looks at a different type of brain protein than others do, a type related to the severity of Alzheimer's. The disease, which currently affects almost 7 million people in the U.S. alone, is named for the German doctor who first described it in the early 1900s. Alzheimer's can hinder someone's memory, the ability to reason or hold a conversation, the ability to carry out simple tasks. It gets worse as time goes on, its exact cause is unknown, and there's no cure for it. The number of cases are expected to increase dramatically in the years ahead, so researchers are scrambling to better detect and then put the brakes on Alzheimer's while the quest for a cure continues.
For the knowledge, what nation regularly sees more extreme forms of weather than any other? Chile, India, United States, Russia. With its unique geography and location making it prone to hurricanes, heat waves, blizzards, flash floods, and tornadoes, the United States is the answer.
All we heard is glass breaking, close the doors. So we come out here and saw everything.
Nicholas Baggett hid with his family in the bathroom of their McEwen, Tennessee home as catastrophic winds swirled past it Monday. Now, they're survivors of a deadly and destructive storm system that tore across the central and eastern U.S. Sunday and Monday.
There's a good damage path up there for about a mile to 2 miles and maybe a half mile wide.
Residents like these folks in Rayne, Louisiana, just starting to dry out after losing nearly everything to floodwaters Monday.
The electricity started flowing through the water with good shocks, so we had to run out of here as fast as we can.
And if floods, storms, and tornado worries aren't enough, thousands remain without power after a windy ice storm in the upper Midwest Monday.
Boy, it was hard just to walk across the street. The wind was that fierce.
Those fierce winds are likely to continue with another blustery winter storm expected there and across the northern plains. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
On this date in world history, one of the longest-serving and best-known leaders of the Roman Catholic Church passed away on this date in 2005. Pope John Paul II was the first Polish man to be pontiff and the first non-Italian since the 16th century. Millions visited Rome to mourn the late Catholic leader. On this date in 1800, the Austrian public got to hear the first ever performance by composer Ludwig van Beethoven. His first work, appropriately titled Symphony No. 1, was performed at Vienna's Royal Imperial Theater. The German musician had hearing loss and was completely deaf when his Ninth Symphony masterpiece was performed in 1824. And money, money, money! The U.S. established its system of currency on April 2nd. The Coinage Act of 1792 created the U.S. Mint and established the dollar as the nation's standard unit of currency. The dollar is one of the strongest currencies in the world, settling around 60% of today's global trade.
History isn't only in textbooks. It's all around you. At Educational Travel Adventures, we take students beyond the classroom and out into the world. Your adventure starts here.
culture in the world. This nation is believed to have been the birthplace of the guitar. Once conquered by Muslim Arabs, the country became independent in 1492. Today, it's a parliamentary constitutional monarchy whose capital is Madrid. This is Spain, a country of more than 42 million people.
A Spanish city known for its history is hoping to be better known for its prehistory. Cuenca is in the central part of the European nation. It's where a newly identified species of dinosaur is on display at a local museum. The animal's name, the Concasaura.
The Concasaur remains were found in 2007 when workers were constructing rails for a new high-speed train.
Días del Ave, Madrid Levante. It was something exceptional because a team of more than 50 paleontologists were working for about 6 months to extract all of the material as quickly as possible. And we now have about 14,000 bones in the museum's facilities.
Más de 50 paleontólogos. Using those bones, scientists were able to paint what they believe to be a pretty accurate picture of what the dinosaur looked like. It just took them 17 years of study to do it. Concasaura pintaquinestra was a sauropod, meaning it had a long neck, 4 legs, and it was massive, about 20 feet tall and 50 to 65 feet long. Paleontologists are unsure how this species became extinct, but its bones were discovered with a whole slew of other bones.
We think a catastrophic event, a great flood, swept away everything in front of it, swept away and accumulated all these organisms in this area of springs, some of them jumbled one on top of the other.
Talk about a puzzle. So far, only the Concasaura has been put together from the jumbled mix of remains. The other fossils sit in a warehouse outside of Cuenca, meticulously sorted, along with bags of soil waiting to be sifted through. Experts think other new species of dinos could be discovered as well. In the meantime, Cuenca hopes the Concasaura exhibit will attract new visitors to the historic town.
One of my missions is for people to realize that we have possibly the best or the most important fossil collections in Spain and possibly in Europe.
We're moving from west to the Middle East on today's World of Viewers. The Grand Canyon state of Arizona is where you'll find Flagstaff High School. Great to see the Eagles in Miss Duroncio's class watching from Flagstaff. In the Prairie State, we've got the Cougars with us. Thank you to the students and teachers of Harvey, Illinois for watching from Rosa Parks Middle School. And from the town of Evan Yehuda, Israel, Mrs. Aharoni or Aharoni's class is online. Hello to Walworth Barber American International School.
Check out these mind-boggling scenes under the sea, recently seen for the first time by humans. In January, an iceberg the size of Chicago snapped off an Antarctic ice shelf, allowing researchers to access areas of seafloor never explored before. The Schmidt Ocean Institute dove directly to the bottom of the Bellinghausen Sea and saw a thriving ecosystem. Using a remotely operated vehicle, the team documented this octopus sitting 3,700 feet below the surface, simply resting at the bottom. This helmet jellyfish flaunting its luminescent tentacles. A giant phantom jelly drifting along. These things can grow to 33 feet in length. And a large sponge stationed next to a cluster of anemone. Scientists say it may have been growing for decades, even hundreds of years. Researchers expect it will take years to document all the cool and creepy critters found far beneath the ocean's surface and investigate how they survived for centuries under the ice.
Lastly, this Wednesday, neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor turkey stays these couriers. A Massachusetts mailman has dealt with deer and dogs before. His extensive experience helped him keep turkeys at bay on a recent delivery. The troublesome trio trailed and trialed him on several stops, but he got the job done with no harm coming to himself or his pursuers. Once news got out,
all day long it's been gobble gobble texts and turkey texts, and I can't imagine what Thanksgiving is going to be like this year.
Well, he'll still be stuffing mail, and it won't all be gravy. But he'll be on a casserole when he realizes he can serve the turkeys then. It'll be him doing the gobbling instead of having to trot away or take flight on the wing. It'll be a sawsome event when the tables are turned and all the giblets and pieces are picked up. I'm Carl Azus for The World from A to Z, and I'm giving thanks for you.